Almost every health and nutrition expert agrees that ultra-processed foods are bad for you. Tens of thousands of people are using highly processed meats to improve their health. Hypothesis is that the less processed the food is, the better it is for you, the more nutritious it is.
That juicy rack of ribs or marinated steak you just threw on the grill, it might be hiding a dirty secret. From chemical preservatives to fake smoke flavor, not all barbecue meats are what they seem. If you care about your health or your grill, don't buy from these 5 meat brands. Barbecue is sacred. Whether it's July 4th, a Sunday cookout, or just dinner with the family, throwing meat on the grill feels like an American ritual. The sizzle, the smoke, the sauce, there's nothing quite like it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the barbecue meat you see at your grocery store is not just overprocessed, it's downright deceptive. Behind those slick labels, bold fonts, and claims of slow-smoked flavor lies a food industry tricking you into thinking you're getting real, high-quality meat when you're not. Some brands inject their products with water, chemicals, artificial smoke, and more sodium than you'd believe, all while charging a premium for it. So if you think you're eating like a pitmaster, think again.
Almost every health and nutrition expert agrees that ultra-processed foods are bad for you, with the lowest amount of sugar, the lowest amount of carbohydrates, and you're going to eat that meat when you're hungry, and you're going to eat until you're completely full.
Let's talk about the worst offenders, the barbecue meat brands you should think twice before putting on your grill. First up, Smithfield. It's one of the most recognizable names in barbecue, famous for its ribs, pulled pork, and bacon-wrapped everything. But behind that reputation is a long history of shortcuts. Many of their pre-marinated meats are pumped with sodium phosphates and flavor solutions, which make the meat look juicier while actually masking low-quality cuts. It's a trick. You think you're buying thick, fresh meat, but it's mostly saltwater. What's more, Smithfield has been criticized for its heavy use of artificial smoke flavor instead of real wood smoking. Their smoked ribs, cooked in a factory oven, doused in liquid smoke, and vacuum-packed. Worse still, Smithfield is owned by WH Group, a Chinese corporation. That might not seem like a big deal until you realize this global meat giant has repeatedly come under fire for quality control issues abroad. So the pork you're grilling with pride might not be as American or clean as you thought. Next, Hormel. You probably know them from chili or Spam, but Hormel also sells a range of barbecue pork, ribs, and beef brisket products, many of which are labeled as fully cooked or ready to heat. That sounds convenient until you realize how they pull it off. Hormel's barbecue meats are often pre-cooked in pressure steamers, loaded with modified cornstarch, potassium lactate, and sodium diacetate, then slathered in sugary sauce to simulate the bark and flavor of a smoked product. In short, it's barbecue for people who don't know barbecue. There's no real wood, no slow smoking, no dry rub, just preservatives, sauce, and heat. Even the meat texture gives it away. It's mushy and oddly uniform. That's not slow-cooked brisket. That's factory barbecue pretending to be authentic. Then there's Hillshire Farm. Known for deli meats and smoked sausages, they also dabble in barbecue items like mesquite-glazed pork loins or bourbon-basted ribs. The problem? They rely heavily on reconstituted meats, which means smaller scraps of meat are pressed together with binders to look like one continuous piece. They also inject their barbecue cuts with up to 20% solution, which includes salt, sugar, and preservatives.
Hypothesis is that the less processed the food is, the better it is for you, the more nutritious it is. And these people are using these cheap, highly processed meats to reverse their obesity.
So not only are you paying by the pound for what's essentially meat filler and flavored water, you're also grilling up meat that was never a single muscle to begin with. It may look like a juicy rack of ribs, but it's stitched together in a factory. The flavor might hit your tongue, but it doesn't stay with you. Another big name to avoid, Oscar Mayer. You may think of hot dogs, but Oscar Mayer's barbecue line has expanded into ribs, pulled pork, and even brisket kits. While their branding leans on tradition and nostalgia, the ingredients list tells a different story. Many of their barbecue items contain mechanically separated meat, which is a fancy way of saying the meat was pressure blasted off bones into a paste-like substance. That's how they make it so tender and cheap. It's not really pulled pork or brisket in the traditional sense. You're eating a meat slurry held together by stabilizers, and artificial smoke. If you've ever noticed their barbecue items come out of the package with that weird, wet sheen, now you know why. It's not juicy. It's processed beyond recognition. And your taste buds may not notice, but your stomach will. And finally, Kirkland Signature, Costco's private label brand. This one might surprise you. After all, Kirkland has a reputation for high-quality staples. But when it comes to barbecue meats, especially their smoked brisket, pulled pork, and pre-marinated ribs, there's some fine print you need to pay attention to. Costco's barbecue meats are pre-cooked in centralized facilities, then chilled, vacuum-packed, and shipped across the country. To preserve texture and flavor, they use sodium nitrite, liquid smoke, and potassium lactate. And while the flavor is decent, it's all lab-designed. There's no backyard pit, no char, no bark, just engineered consistency. Worse, many Kirkland barbecue items are mass-marinated, meaning the meat sits in a flavor bath for days before being sealed. That bath often includes high-fructose corn syrup, thickeners, and more than 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving.
Tens of thousands of people are using highly processed meats to improve their health. Fear not. What I want you to do is be a ingredient list detective. You're going to buy the best quality.
And yet people think they're getting high-end barbecue at bulk savings. You're not. You're getting barbecue built for shelf life, not smoke rings. But it's not just about the meat. It's about what these brands represent. They're built to simulate the real barbecue experience. The smell, the flavor, the texture. But they don't go through the process. They cut corners. They use chemicals, machines, and tricks to fake what pitmasters spend hours, even days, perfecting. You can taste the difference, but only if you know what to look for. Authentic barbecue has imperfections. Burnt ends, uneven crust, a smoke ring that took hours to form. Factory barbecue is uniform, soft, overly sweet, and saturated in sauce to distract from its flaws. It's designed to fool your mouth, but not to feed your soul. So what should you do? Stick to local butchers or reputable smokehouses. If you're buying from a grocery store, read the ingredients. Look for simple, recognizable terms: pork, salt, spices, not potassium phosphate, hydrolyzed soy protein, or smoke flavor, artificial and natural. Ask questions. If the meat is pre-cooked, find out how. Was it smoked or steamed? Was it brined or injected? The more transparent the label, the better the product usually is. And if you're going to fire up the grill, make it count. Buy fresh. Use real wood or charcoal. Season it yourself. The process is part of the reward. Because real barbecue isn't just about feeding your stomach, it's about feeding your pride. Don't let these 5 brands cheapen your fire. What are your thoughts? Do let me know in the comments below.